Teresita Blanco, the Artsysister, and we're continuing with chapter 10. Oh man, I made chapter 10 really long. Alright. The family agreed to regroup under a bee tree, under a bee-infested palm tree near the kiddie pool. As Candice arrived, a little kid had just been stung by a bee. This made Candice laugh till a bee stung her in the elbow. Ambrose gently removed it, and he vibrated his hands a little to tell the bees to bugger off. Ambrose had mastered the language of many different animal creatures, including tiny bees. Ambrose frowned and said to Candice, "This bee said there is like a super serious bad hurricane coming." "Nah, it is probably just a storm or something," said Candice. "If it was bad, somebody would have mentioned it on the news or something. Maybe even Cassandra would have said something."
Pretty sure she did.
Oh yeah. Well, she said a bee was about she just staying there to watch the show. So she knows that something's coming, but she finds it hilarious that they're gonna bad things are gonna happen to them. Well, she was a bit angry ever since you misplaced her little Lego figurine, said Ambrose. "I bought her a new one, and besides, if she's such a sidekick, she should find it herself," said Candice. Cassandra, who was just arriving, said, "Even my vision has blind spots, which reminds me, think, Candice, think. Where did you put my little Vader figurine?" "I think Luke threw him off the balcony, but I cannot be certain about it. It was like super long time ago," said Candice sheepishly. "Till my Vader hater shows up, I will keep to myself. I will make you hurt, little Candice," said Cassandra, flapping her head crest. "Show you, angry bird," said Ambrose, putting his hand around Cassandra to get the bird to move along with the rest of the family. When they got to the parking lot, they could not find their car. After looking about 4 hours, they discovered it sandwiched between two large campers. The angle of the car made it impossible to spot from the little golf cart they were riding while they searched for the vehicle. By now it was 10 p.m. With Cassandra in a foul mood, she didn't feel like serving as a GPS. So Marlon naturally got lost. He got so lost he ended up in the entrance to Ocala. When he doubled back, he ended up in St. Cloud. That area was so dark that even a vampire like Marlo had a hard time seeing what was about. Vampires cannot see in the dark. Rather, like the cat, they are crepuscular. With just a bit of light, they can get the entire picture. But, in pitch black, they can't see anything. This is where vampires get their photo taken with a flash. Their eyes shine green or blue instead of the usual red that is common among humans and demons. After running over a person, Cassandra finally decided to help Marlo return to the hotel. Marlo did not know what he ran over, only that when he made it back to the hotel, he noticed that one of the wheels and the bumper had a lot of blood. He assumed it was an animal, and he went to bed for the following day. There was another park to visit. By now, Marlo was starting to get sick of the theme park experience. It was fine with one park, but the going to the parks and getting out of them was souring up the experience. By the time he got to bed, Marlo was pretty exhausted and in a foul mood. As soon as he lay down, he heard a knock on the door. He said grouchy, "Maruru, open the door." "Now you do it," said Maruru, who was channel surfing. "Maruru, please, for God's sake," pleaded Marlo with his head face down on the pillow. When Maruru opened the door, she saw a weirdo with a distressed look on his face. Maruru noticed the Egyptian jewelry and the eyes of the guy. Maruru asked, "What do you want?" I saw that Candice's boyfriend posted on Facebook that they were staying in this hotel. Where is Candice, if I may ask? I really need to speak to her like right now," insisted the fellow. "Sure, she's in the other room," said Maruru, pointing towards the right. The fellow started knocking at the door. When Candice now opened, the guy kicked the door down. Candice snapped and said, "Hey, we're going to have to pay for that, you know." "I'm sorry, my pupil, but this is an emergency," said Siddhanta in a panic. "You said you had a magic parrot who is a seer. I need her help." Sofita heard a commotion in the other room and she came to see what was the matter. When she saw Siddhanta looking so worried, she asked, "What happened?" "I don't have time to explain," said Siddhanta. "Time is of the essence." "You don't need to explain," said Cassandra, landing on Siddhanta's shoulder. She added, "Get your father father Marlo. Candice got up and she went to fetch her father. He yawned as his dour face seemed even more haggard than usual. Silanta jumped off the balcony with Candice following after. Candice landed face first on the ground, splattering her knees badly. Ambrose noticed Candice acting stupid again, but he decided that he had enough of her nonsense for one day. Aside from Marlo, Sofita also joined in the mysterious summons. They took Sidanta's sports car. It was a sleek Bugatti Veyron EB 16.4 with an elegant red paint. Sidanta raced through Kissimmee with an excited Candice, a born Marlo, and a curious Sofita, while Sidanta drove Cassandra giving her GPS instructions. Only this time she kept her instructions short. At a top speed of 200 miles per hour, soon they attracted the attention of the cop. The cop followed them for a bit, but he lost track of the Bugatti around the time when he got into the expressway. Cassandra made Sidanta get off in the exit that led to St. Cloud. Marlo rolled his eyes at his side as he said, "Sweet baby Jesus, not this place again." After leaving the main road, they followed a narrow dirt road that had no lights. Without Cassandra's instruction, they would have easily driven into one of the many bodies of water. The sky was pitch black. Only the occasional lightning flash brought forth any light to the surroundings. There was a strong wind moving over the trees. Cassandra then said, "After we save Horsena from the Nazis, we should get out of Orlando. There's like a super strong hurricane coming." "And you chose to tell us now?" snapped Candice. "Well, there's nothing like a ticking clock to give a sense of urgency to a mission," said Cassandra. "If you say so, Cassandra," sighed Candice. Marlo said, "So what is all this nonsense about Nazis, if you care to fill us in?" "I was in the club with my husband, just dancing and minding our own business when some Nazis raided the place. They shut up the place and everyone ran, and during the commotion, I got separated from Horsenack," explained Sidanta. "So I ran to the car and got myself a machine gun, and after shooting some Nazis in the face, they all scrambled, and when everything was said and done, I couldn't find Horsenack. I guess the mad bastard must have taken him as a revenge for you killing some of their own," said Sofita all seriously. "Why are there Nazis in Florida?" asked Candice. "I thought you said the Russians killed them all." "They did, but not their literature. What a bad idea remains, idiots that subscribe to it will surface," explained Marlo. He added, smiling, "which was well for me because Nazi killing is like my specialty. They are the only human I can kill guilt-free." "You surprise me, Marlo," said Sofita. "Guilt-free is a figure of speech. I never lost sleep regardless of whom I killed," said Marlo. After this banter, Sadanta earned his two pupils with the best arsenal he had to muster. Candice had been hitting the gun ring with Sofita on the weekends. Candice was a spotty marksman at best. It was for this reason that Siddhartha handed her a sawed-off shotgun. Sofita was not a fan of using guns, but what in Rome? Sofita was handed a sniper rifle with night vision scope. Sofita climbed a nearby willow tree. From up there, and with the scope, she was able to notice some strange movements in the house. By now, Siddhartha and Candice and Marlo were near the house, ready to pounce. There was a gathering of folks roaming the grounds of what seemed to be a large colonial house. It reminded Candice a bit of the house of Forrest Gump, with the blue exterior paint, the 2 stories, and the large windows. Time?
6 minutes.
Sofita saw that the folks in their house did not resemble Nazis. They were all bald folks, to be certain. Still, their outfits worn by certain fellows gave Sofita a bit of a cultist vibe. Since Sofita was technically a former member of a cult, she felt the need to inform Candice about it. She tested Candice into what she saw. It was at that moment where Candice lost the element of surprise. Her cell phone said at the top of its lungs, "You got mail." The cultists scrambled and sounded the alarm. Those in robes had guns, and they started firing in the direction they had heard the noise. Marlo stood up before Candice to block the bullet hell that was coming in her direction. She held on to her father's back, and she would shoot her shotgun over his shoulder. Eventually, Marlo shook off Candice in order to maneuver better. Candice started crawling on the flat floor as an AVCs normally did. From time to time, she would shoot at the heel of a fellow. She wanted to make quick work of whatever came in his direction. After shooting at the porch, the 2 stage lights were turned on. From on top of the second floor, hundreds of gunsmen were aiming at Candice, Sidanta, and Marlo. Sofita removed the night scope, and then she shut out the lights. With the darkness, chaos returned to the fray. Chaos resumed. With Candice jumping behind the cars and shooting the poor calves of any unfamiliar leg. She thought that the strategy would work well, since Marlo went barefoot when in battle, and Sidanta had pretty anklet with a scarab on his leg. When the folks stopped getting near the car, Candice had to get out of her covering and circle around the house. She broke the window to the kitchen. Meanwhile, her father had entered through the roof, and Sidanta had come in through the front door. As for Sofita, she shot anyone that got near the house to cover the rear. Each time Sidanta got shot, instead of blood, his wound discharged a sappy resin. It soon hardened into a sleek, honey-colored amber. There was a strong scent of frankincense clinging to his flesh. The rescue party eventually gathered together in the center of the living room, from a room in the middle of the twin staircases, an iron door opened. A booming voice said, "Enough, Marlo. What is it that you want?" The cultists stopped in their track and started looking at the roof, with their eyes rolled to the back of their head. Marlo Jones said, What were we here to do again?" He coughed a bit and he spat out a couple of bullets. Some of the newer kinds were sharper than the hailstone he was used to. So he was starting to get sleepy. His senses was not what he used to. An ancient vampire who is of no consequence came out of the iron door. Candice said to the fellow, "You take one of our own, so we put bullets in all of your things." One of your own, asked the vampire, who was half asleep. The scent of blood and the smell of Marlo was what had awakened him. Every vampire in Florida knew of Marlo. He was the oddball, the one who did not fit into any of the covens, councils, or whatever other vampire organization there was in Florida. Back when he had arrived, there had been intentions of integrating the infamous vampire who had been solely responsible for stopping the German advance into St. Petersburg. The vampire lord saw the rumors about Marlo were true. He was a petty man, who when provoked committed the most violence of action. As strong rain started falling, the vampire lord went to the other room, and he looked through the recent acquisition. He pulled one after another, and he paraded his captured victims in front of Marlon to see who he wanted. After showing 3 different fellows that had been taken from the same club, the vampire lord pulled out Horsana. He was quite the worse for wear due to the beatings, the missing nails, and many other sordid sins that the vampire lord used to those he initiated into his little cult. Sidanta handed his rifle to Marlo, and he picked up Horsana, who was having a hard time walking. One of his leg tendons had been sliced to prevent him from running away. Sidanta whispered something to Horsana. Horsana shook his head and he said, "Let's go home." Marlo nodded and followed after Sidanta. Candice lingered a little. Marlo noticed that Candice had Candice's eyes were black and golden. He returned and he picked at Candice as he would do a small child. Candice held on to her father's neck, and with the other hand she gripped the shotgun. All the while her eyes focused on the house, and that glistened like 2 golden flames. The three other fellows that had been taken ran after Marlo and the other. The cultists now were staring at all the fellows depart. Due to the size of the car, the 3 other guys that had been saved had to ride in the trunk. In the trunk. Still, being in the trunk of the car was preferable to being tortured by a bunch of cultists. Sidanta dropped off the fellows at the hospital before driving Cassandra and Candice back to the hotel. Bye bye and God bless.